And then we also have a deepfake video that we can play here that'll have a original and then the deepfake section.
A clear message that we get from the proceedings in America is that after all the toings and froings and all that, I'm not really Boris. This is an AI-generated video showing just how far technology has come in recent years. It means we all need to be careful to check the authenticity of what we see and hear.
So that's from a company that specializes in deepfakes specifically. But you can see that that was really convincing. If you're not looking for it, if you're just scrolling on Twitter or Instagram, TikTok, and you've been on there for a few hours, and then you see just a deepfake video pop onto your feed, unless it's blatantly obvious, it may be hard to detect, or unless you're looking for it and thinking about it. That's why the users being educated on these threats is extremely important, since there's very, very little cues that would give away that that wasn't Boris Johnson talking, aside from him saying that he was a deep fake in that video specifically. But AI also makes phishing more convincing. If you use a phishing call, deepfake, et cetera, or even just the text we looked at earlier, where it's highly contextualized to each user. Adversaries are becoming at least mildly better due to AI. A quote from the FBI and then the State Department, they're using AI as an amplifier. They're able to scrape all this information off Facebook, other social media sites, LinkedIn, and now the model will be able to create a phishing email directly to you using a high school nickname. And what's really scary about this, we actually have some numbers on the metrics of how much better AI is becoming. So a advisor and close collaborator to Dune Security, Fred Heiding, who's a researcher out of Harvard, in his studies, he's found that AI spear phishing emails are able to achieve a 70% click rate on them, just like the one that we showed earlier. Whereas traditional phishing, you'll typically see a 10 to 20% click rate, depending on how cyber-aware an organization or an individual is. But what's really scary about this is that's such a large difference in effectiveness, going from 10 to 20 all the way up to 70. And they use a number of tactics to increase the effectiveness. Social media, like I mentioned many times, they're grabbing all this information about you, your LinkedIn, where you work, what level are you in your company, industry, et cetera. But they're also using marketing language. Marketing is pretty much the science of how do you attract people to a product, service, et cetera. They're using the same language to get users to click on and interact with phishing email. And then the last one would just be human heuristics, just what we believe, take the action that you want them to, and really just set them up to do that. An example of this is if I say, can you grab me a coffee? Your first instinct may be to say no, but if you phrase things a certain way to humans, like, would you be opposed to grabbing me a coffee? Just using a slight difference in your language like that makes it even more convincing. So tiny little differences like that, the AI is able to well craft and automate for you instead of sitting there and thinking. I'm sure everyone's had writer's block when writing a paper for a class, your research, et cetera. But the AI can just rip through drafts one after another. And the cost for the hacker, the individual using even just ChatGPT, if it's something non-malicious, is really minimal.